Welcome everyone, we are here in the second season with another interview. This time I have someone here who refers himself as fun, pretty fun, even a little bit obsessed with fun. But I have had the joy of having a previous talk with him, and he's also very interesting. So today we're going to be enjoying this next hour with the host of the YouTube channel Sacred Art of Gaming, specialized in solo TTRPGs, which, as you already know, I think is not only very interesting and something I enjoy a lot, but it's also very useful. So here we are. Sacred, thank you for being here.
And the crowd goes wild.
Wow.
Right.
How are you? How do you feel now?
Good. Yeah. I've been on a tear lately with Band of Blades, which is a whole other thing.
Yes.
But I've been having Yeah, it's been on my shelf of shame for quite some time, and I'm finally getting it off. And it's been quite the experience.
Yeah, that's great. It's great when you get to try something new. You have, out of most of the creators, the content creators I watch as an audience, not even the ones I have reached or anything, you are probably the one who has tried or shown the most different games.
Wow.
How do you feel about that? It's clear you
I
like
love
to
that.
explore a lot.
I
Why
do.
do you do that?
I love diversity in all things, really, but in games, in food, in life, in music, and everything. So, yeah, there's games that I may love a very specific type of game right now, but tomorrow is going to be a completely different vibe, maybe. Right now, I've been on this Powered by the Apocalypse challenge, which people may know is not my favorite type of game, but I'm trying to see this challenge through to see what people what all the craze is about, and see if all the things that they said I was wrong about, if I'm missing something. So I've been playing a lot of those games, but I needed a break. But I still wanted to stay somewhat within the confines of Powered by the Apocalypse, and Band of Blades was a nice pivot.
These challenges, you do them all by yourself, right? Like that's a solo thing.
Yeah, it would be very hard to do with a group, which honestly is probably a big part of the reason solo gaming started. I just like too many things at a rapid pace that my friends it's just not possible. We meet once every week or two, sometimes, and a lot of them are obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So.
But you have your TTRPG group, like you play collectively, like the traditional way.
Yes. Yeah, I have probably 2 or 3 groups, some variation of those groups. Sometimes they kind of intertwine depending on the system. But yeah, I do group game as well.
That's nice. Yeah, it's very interesting for me. It's kind of weird to go to solo playing when TTRPGs are usually, at least like culturally, something so collective. And it turns out that suddenly you open a door and there is like this whole world of games designed to be played solo, or games like Dungeons and Dragons and tools that you can use to play them solo. Actually, you showed one a couple of weeks ago in your channel, and you have shown many times like tables and different things that really make for a different experience. And how do you think that has shaped the way you enjoy traditional role-playing too?
That's a good question. I think
I know. That's why
that's why they pay you the big bucks. Yeah, so I honestly think it helps a lot, especially with improv, because whenever you have the time to sit. And I know sometimes with YouTube, whether it's myself or others, the final product that you see, more often than not, is going to be polished. I'm going to edit out a lot of the thinking and stuff. But there are times where you see me playing and it's within seconds. Sometimes that that's me going for a walk for 30 minutes and thinking about, hey, the character is dangling on a cliff. What am I going to do in this situation? Should the consequence of my character failing on the cliff, should it be death? Does that make sense for the story? Does that make sense for an actual consequence given the circumstances that are happening right now? And in those exercises, that sometimes I do them in 5 minutes, sometimes I'll walk and think, maybe I'll go for a run. A lot of times I think about it in the shower too, and I'll come back and I'll be like, I got it. This is the thing I need to do. And whenever you have the time to kind of let your brain stretch a bit, then you play in your group games and you're flexing these like improvisational muscles that you didn't know that you had, and you may not even realize that you're flexing them. But I have seen the benefits not just in group play, but also in like things like work and public speaking as well. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I mean, yeah, I would guess it makes a lot of sense. Yes, and it wasn't yesterday. 2 days ago, I think, I was playing board games at a friend's house, and that day I went to bed at night, and I thought, this is basically group problem solving, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. We play Journeys in Middle-earth, which is a Lord of the Rings themed board game, which has a little bit of role playing, but not really that much. And yeah, it's cooperative, so yeah, you solve problems together. And I was thinking, would it work if I was by myself there? Like, I would probably be able to solve a lot of stuff, but you realize that when you are with other people, they also help with ideas, and not only with different perspectives, but they also sometimes get to conclusions faster than you would. And it makes a lot of sense that when you are alone, you need maybe sometimes a 30-minute walk, and when it's 4 brains working together, you can, I don't know, nail it in 5 or 10 minutes. But it's definitely a different experience, and you told me behind the cameras last time that you have dealt many times in other branches of art with some problem solving too, sometimes regarding resources or trying to achieve certain results through unorthodox ways. So what can you tell us about it? Do you have any anecdotes that you can share, and how would you say that relates to the TTRPG, especially the solo playing?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's worth stating that I may have been born this way. I don't know why, but whenever I was presented with very simple tasks, I was always trying to do things in the most roundabout, outside the box, weird kind of way. And yeah, I did have a buddy that he was going to school for film, and we were kind of doing this like mob movie. And there were just so many things that, just a couple high school kids, like how are we going to do this mob movie? We worked at a McDonald's at the time. And one of the scenes that we did was on top of the roof of the McDonald's, that like during our lunch break, we went on the roof and we did a fight scene. It was so, it was obviously very hard to see. And one character was getting like kicked off the side. And there were a lot of dark scenes too. So the use of guns in a mob movie, like how are we going to make that believable? And one of the things that we did that I feel like worked so well, which was so simple, just having like lighters, like having a gun and having a lighter, and then kind of just having the fake gun and having it move a little bit while you kind of flip the lighter. And it looked great in the dark for our inspiration from like a lot of the popular Bob movies, Goodfellas, Scarface. It really kind of, it worked. I don't know what grade he got on that project, but
I mean, hopefully it was good, because it sounds pretty good, and you're saying it worked. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we
you
had a
know,
lot of fun doing it, which I almost feel like was maybe even more important. And then I did like the background music with some random like cheap beat making software that I had. And yeah, just a lot of like little weird things that we did to just make it work.
but yeah, I mean, when we go through the school system, even though we live very far apart in two different countries, this is kind of uh, this happens in most countries, I would say. Usually, we don't learn, or the teaching process is not really that focused in learning. Uh, I wouldn't say soft skills, but yeah, some stuff like problem solving, or maybe even enjoying something, motivating yourself. And then you come to the professional world and you realize that sometimes the biggest challenges are staying motivated and being able to solve problems without the necessary resources. And just as you did in that movie, that's something we usually juggle with a lot when we are game mastering too, especially when we are solo. But I mean, in a group too, like whatever has to do with replacing minutes with other stuff, or sometimes a rule is missing in the handbook and we go take it somewhere else, or we make a ruling. So there is really lots to be translated there, lots to be learned.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for folks who, which I'm definitely in this camp of people that love to play with the rules and hack the rules up and kind of just something is meant for one thing and I'm going to twist it and do something out of left field always. And as you know, my background is in cybersecurity, and a lot of times for cybersecurity, the challenges they have is cybersecurity escape rooms. So
Oh
you kind of
wow, that's nice.
have, yeah, you have like your terminal set up, and you have to find like certain flags. So this, escape room term is like it's a digital escape room,
Yeah, I mean, I
and
have participated in a couple easy, like beginner capture the flag tournaments,
nice.
which is very fun but very stressing. I would say that
hmm
applies for most of coding related things or software related things. Um,
Yeah.
but
And I think a lot of that stuff it applies to like just that outside the box thinking for especially like tabletop. Anytime, whether it's like a specific problem that you're trying to solve with a character, or just like very super high level, how are we going to make this system work the way that we want it to work? And that's kind of the beauty of it, I think.
when you play solo, you usually do you have long campaigns, or do you usually just make one session like one shots for yourself, or how do you like to do it?
I do a mix, and I'm very overdue for a long campaign. I've had a list lately, and I've been doing incredibly on the list. I think I'm at like 27 games since the holidays, which is like a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite a bit. Um, so for the most part, I usually, and it's so hard to wrap a metric around it because the amount of hours are not
Yeah,
consistent, the amount of
totally.
sessions are not consistent. Sometimes my like one session, like using something like Dungeon World for example, that has like a end of session roll. A lot of times when I'm done playing, I don't, like, let's say I'm playing right now, but I want a snack. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
do a snack. Maybe I'm gonna do some laundry or the dishes or something, and I'm gonna come back in an hour and a half, and then continue playing for like maybe another hour, and then I'll do that end of session roll. And that might happen like two or three times throughout the day. So if I were to guess, and my YouTube channel probably is a good metric for this,
Mm.
I probably do like 6 hour campaigns, give or take, somewhere between like 5 and 8 hours.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is I'll put a pin in my story and I'll come back to it. Sometimes I'll come back to it by switching systems. So this allows me to have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
I I get to play another system, but I get to continue with the same character, which is very neat. Or I come back to that same story at a later time when I'm like, hey, you know what? I have been playing Starborg, and I miss playing Starborg. I want to go back to it. I was having a lot of fun with it because now I've been playing Starforged, and it made me miss Starborg.
Okay, yeah. Maybe a similar question but different. I know that many of these you do because, of course, because you enjoy it, but also I feel it's a way of exploring, of studying, of learning a bit more, of making content for the channel stuff. Is there maybe a game you always come back to, or that you have that you where you have like that one maybe longer story, or maybe that one character, not only that one game, when you feel like you just wanna relax and play a little bit without really thinking too much, you know the rules very well, and you just play?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my quick draw response right out the gate is NX Card RPG for sure. NX Card RPG is no stress. I can pull that game out at any time and just start playing and have a blast. As far as like a character goes, I don't know that I have a character like that anymore. I think I had characters that were once like that, and I didn't really fully understand Solo at that time. But I used a lot of those characters as NPCs in a campaign that I ran.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I do is sometimes in solo play, I accidentally create all of these NPCs that I then pepper into games whenever I'm GMing.
Yeah, that's actually a very good idea. Recycling is very useful for us game masters in many different fields, because yeah, we have to do it a lot, or else it's just way too much. We have talked before about intention. Before we go to the importance of intention, which is something that's very important to me too, I want you to tell me, to the best of your ability, I know I'm just throwing this at you like a curveball, how would you define intention in gaming?
Yeah. Intention in gaming. Instead of
or for you, how do you handle it? Like, what is it for you?
Yeah, I almost want to describe the process more so than like a definition. And it doesn't just apply to gaming for me. It also applies to working out is another perfect example. And I'll explain why. This area is usually where I come to solo play. And I think that's important, going to one place. I go to one place, I turn on a couple lights. I kind of like dim light. I like to I'll have some candles. I like the ones that sound like a fireplace with the little crackling and stuff. It's a whole vibe, got some cool scents going. Sometimes I even try and get scents that I think might apply, like especially like the cedar and moss if I'm playing like maybe Dragonbane. Yeah, like I like to set a whole vibe, which is so funny because most of my life, I've been the opposite of that. I've been go, go, go. I need to do everything all the time, all at once, juggling 5 things. And I think becoming a dad like really forced me to slow down, to not just appreciate my time with my family, but also appreciate those times of peace. And this being a time of peace, like fishing. I'm downstairs in my basement, solo fishing for stories and world building. So yeah,
would you say this is kind of like a ritual?
It absolutely is a ritual. Took the word right out of my mouth. With Band of Blades, for example, I leave the book of Band of Blades out. I leave specific dice out. There's a Band of Blades playlist on Spotify that you can just play as background music. So it's a whole thing that I just do. I turn off my phone. Usually I'm playing whenever no one's awake to bother me anyways, but yeah, and I kind of just commit and I give it 100%. This is the thing that I'm going to sit and I'm going to do, and I'm going to take my time with it. Sometimes I'm going to know the rules if it's something like Index Card RPG and I can just roll with the rules. And sometimes something like Band of Blades, I'm kind of I'm unsure on something, but that's okay. I'm just solo playing, so let me open the book. Let me see, can I figure it out in a few moments by looking at the book? If not, I'm just going to make a ruling and just roll with it, and I'll look at it later. Or, if it's something that I'm like, no, I need to figure out harm right now. It's very important. Maybe I'll, dive deep into it, and that's okay.
Um, would you say immersion is like pretty important to you as a player usually?
Yes. Yeah, it is. I didn't realize that until
Until I asked.
much later. Well, no, whenever I have I GM'd before I ever played, so I didn't know what was normal. So I was doing a lot of crazy things as a GM, doing these crazy, like, I would have like playlists for certain parts of the story. Whenever certain characters would do a critical, I would have like a theme song almost that I would play for them.
Nice.
For specific characters. I'd have like a lot. I think audio is so important because audio like really pulls on your emotions. I like a lot of scary games too, and I think that having that spooky ambiance between the lights and the audio is just so important. And then, smell is a little extra. That's something nice. And then also how you convey the NPCs, more so in group play than in solo play.
Yeah.
But sometimes in solo play, I will find myself kind of playing with the voice where I'm kind of, do I think it should be like this kind of character, or do I think it should be like, just seeing what kind of noises I can make.
Yeah, like maybe you mutter the words, but in your brain you are totally picturing the voice the character would have to convey its personality. What I find myself doing a lot is like doing the faces. Like if then an NPC does something that surprises me, I'm like writing and then I do. Because that's one is really living it when you are very immersed. And I had never thought of scents for TTRPGs, even though I had heard at some point about one company that was making like D&D themed candles or something.
Yes, I did hear about this.
Yeah, that smell is one of the most let's say primitive senses we have, so it really takes you to the places and it really digs in deep into your brain.
It's tied to memory, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. You said about how being a dad has changed your way of playing, and I realize I haven't asked you something pretty standard for interviews, but as I told you before, I knew this was not going to be a standard interview, really. How long have you been playing, and when did you start solo role-playing? Was it before you had the kid? Was it later?
Good question. And I actually didn't really think about this until very recently. So I keep thinking in my head that I'm like a rookie. I keep thinking I'm like a new guy to the TTRPG scene. And then I thought about it and I'm like, oh wow, I'm at a decade now where I've been playing, and it all started working nights with a buddy. Well, maybe slightly before that, but I had two different friends. One friend, he kept saying, hey, you're into board games right now, and a lot of those are basically dungeon crawlers. Why don't you just play D&D? It's the same thing. And I'm like, no, because you guys don't have rules when you play. You guys just make stuff up. So, which is funny to think about now. And then I had a buddy that I worked nights with, and I was like, I won't play D&D. But I came across this Starfinder book, and that had me thinking, like, the cover looked cool. I didn't play Starfinder. I ended up going with like Mutants and Masterminds because superpowers and just superheroes in general was just kind of my jam. So yeah, that's where that started. And then solo play started around COVID, where, like a lot of people, I'm sure, my group games pretty much stopped, and we were trying to figure out, like, we didn't have a plan for remote games at the time, so I still had the urge to play, and I was trying to figure out, like, how am I going to play? Like, can I play by myself? Can I do like a test? And I had Savage Worlds, and I was kind of playing with the idea of it. I found a solo module for Savage Worlds. It like kind of worked, but it didn't really work for me that well. From there, I discovered Mythic, as I'm sure most people did. I discovered Mythic, and I'm like, nope, hate it. I don't like this.
Do you still hate it?
I do not still hate it. It's not my favorite, but I was not ready for Mythic. Mythic was too much for me.
Totally. It is too much. It is definitely, I would say, a tool for kind of advanced players or solo players. It has a lot, and to make the best of it, you really have to know what to use and when. And it is a very good tool, though. But I would say I do not use it most of the time. But sometimes it is really, really good. So yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, I used that with like basic fantasy. Then I experimented with Ironsworn, started to really get into Shadow of the Demon Lord, went back to Ironsworn, and started using like the companion app for Ironsworn, where it was doing a lot of the stuff for me on the back end. So like digital gaming was still a thing I was doing quite a bit at that point. And then things really clicked for me whenever I played the Dragonbane solo adventure. And that's when I restarted my solo channel.
I actually have the adventure open right here, not for interview purposes, but because I want to play it soon. It's called, I don't know, Deep Breach in something. Or,
yep.
Yeah,
I have it right here.
Oh, really? Alone in the
I keep it. Yeah, I keep it within arm's reach. I love it.
I was going to ask if you recommend it, but you already answered. So yeah, and that actually started because another one of the YouTubers I watch a lot, whose channel is Legends Dyson Cafe.
Yes.
Yeah,
Coach Key.
Coach Key. Yeah, I am actually at one of her tables now, and because she was offering one of her tables on Start Playing, a Dragonbane one, and I have never played Dragonbane, and I really wanted to test it, so I joined it, and it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, she's a very good game master, and the game is very good, so I found the solo adventure, and I am really eager to play it.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah,
you're in for a treat. Yeah.
I really think so. I mean, the game is very good. I have been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah. To say that I stopped, I did like maybe 5 YouTube videos in like 2020, and then I stopped, and I kind of was just done with it. I think some people like knew I was doing it. It kind of freaked me out where like that world and my real world was blending more than I was comfortable with, because I was kind of oddly secretive about it. And whenever I played Dragonbane, not related to YouTube at all, no thoughts of YouTube at all, I played it and I was just like, I need to talk to someone about this. But none of my friends care about Dragon. They don't even know what Dragonbane is. They just want to keep playing D&D. So that's whenever I started making videos again, where I was like, someone is going to listen to me, at least one person. And here we are.
Yeah. Where do you feel you are in your content creation career today? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about the engagement you have? What drives you forward? How do you feel about that?
Oh, those are some good questions. I, in a lot of ways, feel like I have already won. And when I say that, I feel I feel like something that I thought was an impossible feat, which I'm sure to a lot of people may sound ridiculous to wherever they are in their YouTube or Twitch or whatever type career. But 1,000 subscribers is like the goal. That's like the, hey, if you do that, you made it big time, kid. Good job. You did it. And I was like, surely I'll never get to that. But it'd be neat if I did, right? So eventually it got to 500, and then eventually it got to 1,000, and you kind of just stay consistent, which I mean is kind of just a life lesson in general, whether it's in solo play or YouTube or running outside or whatever it is. Consistency is so important.
Totally.
And yeah, the numbers just continue to build, and next thing you know, you're making friends with other YouTubers, and you kind of just continue to point at each other as you're like, hey, I like this thing, but so does my friend at their channel, and you guys just kind of make like a snowball effect. So yeah, it's I think I have maybe reached like a level of maturity on my YouTube channel where I don't really feel the need to like chase a trend or anything like that. I think it's easy to get pulled into that initially where it's like, this thing just came out. I have to drop a video today
Yes.
because that is what's happening in the world. And I'll still do that to some degree where I just, not for that reason though. I'll do it for the reason of I have access to the Twilight Sword beta and other people don't. And other people may love this and they don't know that they're going to love it. But if they see it on my channel...
I'm right here. I was that person. I am that person. I am a huge Zelda fan. I went to your video. I had never heard of Twilight Sword. I went to look for the beta. I didn't find it. And then you mentioned Hero of Cerulean. And I went and I found Hero of Cerulean. And now it's the Solo TTRPG I am testing. So yeah, I'm totally that person.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that because that's the kind of feedback that I just love to hear where if I can just show one person something that they had no idea about, that I don't know how I discovered it, whether it just popped up for me or I just went down a weird rabbit hole because that's what I do. And next thing you know, I am knee deep in a Raptor Ruckus Kickstarter, and now it's time to share that with the world.
That's very cool. I also think that's a little bit like winning. As you know, I pretty much watch every video you publish, so I know there is also a constant movement in the comment section, and you have lots of people who comment regularly. I have seen the same names repeating sometimes, and I would say it's also nice that you know what you are sharing, like that initial feeling you had with Dragon Vein, like I just enjoy this so much and I want to share it with other people and they're listening, and that's just so cool. So yeah, congratulations on that. If you have said
Thank you.
Yet, congratulations. What do you think is... this question sounds a lot like we're wrapping up, but we are not yet. Where do you see your channel going next soon? What's the next step for your channel? And also, how much time are you dedicating to the channel now? And not only the channel, but to Solo TTRPGs?
The metric of time is so hard to measure because it's really just, it's so life dependent.
Totally.
It's just what time I have that is extra. There are times where I have like none. So like whenever I was away for a while, I had very minimal, but I had time before that. So I was able to prep a bunch of videos in advance. And there are days where my son will take a nap, and there are days he will not take a nap, and that changes dramatically how much I'm able to do. But it's a good and a bad thing. I tend to do a lot of videos in bulk. So there are so many videos that you have never seen and you may never see because I can record videos so much faster than I can edit them. I'm so slow at editing, but I love recording them. And some of them...
of content creators, it's really... Jesus Christ, editing it's the worst.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ideas that I have that sometimes I just can't quite get the vision that I have in my head into a video the way that I'm happy with it. So there's some projects that like I'll work on it for like a year, and every now and then I'll just think of something, I'll try it out, it'll work or it won't work, and I'll make some progress, and then I'll just keep going back to it. But yeah, it's right now I'm dropping like 2 videos a week. Every now and then I'll drop like a third for some reason. But yeah, it's really just kind of life dependent. I'm trying not to make a job out of it. I want to keep it a hobby and a fun thing.
Yeah.
A thing where I'm really just calling a lot of friends all at once and seeing not just one way either. A lot of times I'll say what I have to say and they'll give me feedback for, hey, that game is cool, but what about this game? And then that continues the spiral of games that I then continue to check out. And then if I love that game, I then showcase it to more people and the vicious cycle continues.
Yeah, I can totally see it. I don't think I think I kind of interrupted you when you were talking about the Dragonbane solo adventure. You said your solo journey started with the Dragonbane adventure, and that's what made you click. Which I also want to know, what about it made it click? Because I also kind of had that click moment, and there's just so much. You have very journaling style stuff like 1,000-year-old vampire, or you can just do D&D with tables, or you have like very crunchy stuff, dungeon crawly like Kernethalas. So you found this Dragonbane adventure. What did it click? What was it that you liked it so much? And I think you said already that was at the beginning of COVID, right? Like in 2020 and stuff.
2020 is whenever I initially started making videos and started doing solo. I didn't actually play Dragonbane until 2024. And that's whenever, so there was 4 years where I didn't drop any videos. I was kind of done with YouTube as far as I was concerned. And then I played that Alone in Deepfall Breach Dragonbane solo adventure that I think I just saw the core box and I was like, you know what? People are right. This does feel like a good value. And it's on sale right now at the time in 2024. So I bought it and I tried it and I was like, I love this so much. I need to make a video about it. And if I were to put the reasons into words, probably starting with this little booklet, Alone in Deepfall Breach. It is just so tight and efficient with the tools and the tables that it has. There's also the enemy AI and the way that works, and not just the enemy AI for the specific monsters, but also I love this NPC attack table that's in this book on like page 4, where it gives you just like a melee attacker, a range attacker, a sneaky attacker. So let's say I just come up with a random monster or an NPC that's not in this book or in any of the books, and it's just something I made up. I can use one of these, and that's where I love the hackability of stuff like that. So you take those things, and then the art within Dragonbane and the layout of Dragonbane, that's like the scented candles and the ambiance, because that art is just so incredible.
It's amazing.
It's just so inviting. I feel like 30 years younger whenever I look at that art, where I kind of shrink down into a child, and it brings out this, like, have you seen the movie Page Master or heard of it?
I don't think so.
Where it's like, I think it's Macaulay Culkin, and he like goes into the books, and there's other books, and he's jumping from stories to stories, and it goes from.
I saw that one. It just the English name doesn't ring any bells, but yeah, I know the movie. I know it.
Yeah, so it kind of like puts me in that mode where I kind of get like sucked into the book. Like that's how evocative the art is for me.
Yeah.
So between the mechanics, the art, and then how good the solo stuff is that supports it, it's just a perfect storm.
Well, that's I really like when you talk about Dragon Pain, because you what's the word? You communicate so effectively and involuntarily how passionate you are about it. Like, this is so great, and you can totally see that. And sometimes it's really hard to get that feeling when you're playing solo, and I think that being able to achieve that is really a goal in itself, because we are also, we live in a hyper digital world. We are used to information all the time. And when we have free time, it's usually okay. So what can I do that is of value right now? Like, I cannot waste any time because, I'm falling behind. I have to learn something or do something or consume something or create something. But being able to be alone and sit down and take the time. It was 4 years for you. That's not a short amount of time to find the right game. And when you found it, it was like it sparked a whole new thing in your life. Like, okay, now I am going back to making videos. I am really getting like right into this. You are turning off your phone. That's something I don't do at all, ever. Even when I am playing, I never do it because no.
Well, I don't turn it off, but I put on Do Not Disturb. So my wife will always be able to get through the way I have the rules set, but that's about as close as I get to turning it off. Usually.
I never used to Do Not Disturb either, only at sleeping times, but that's not what the interview is about, really. Yeah, if you had to give a teaching to new solo players, what would it be? If you had to give maybe one advice to solo players that are new to this. Most of the tabletop role-playing players don't really know about this, or know about it but have never delved into it. So would you recommend it? Why? How? And what advice would you give them so they enjoy it the most?
Yeah. So, as far as like hooking them into it, I guess it depends on like what they're interested in. So if you are someone who is interested in being able to play in any story or setting and have pretty much unlimited freedom to do whatever you want with whatever character you want and explore all kinds of things about yourself and that world and your character. Notice I said yourself there. And it's just so insanely powerful. Like, can you imagine if this was something we knew about as children? We'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what you're doing as children anyways. And I think as I get further and further away from my inner child, I think that kind of pulled me back towards things that felt more creative, because my job is not a creative job. So that being the hook, right? And that's the same hook that video games like Baldur's Gate 3 has, for example, where, hey, imagine a video game where you can pretty much do anything. This is like that, but times 1,000. Now, the obvious drawback being that Baldur's Gate 3, of course, tracks everything for you. You don't have to worry about the minutia and writing everything down. And initially, I hated that. But I grew to appreciate it because I was doing things digitally for a while, and now I do everything physically. So I actually do things even more manual than I used to. I used to actually like script. I would have a button that, let's say I would attack someone, and if they died, it would show me what loot I got, and it spiraled into this one click. This gives me everything I need.
Did you make the code for these tools, or were they tools you found somewhere?
Some of it was just messing around within like Roll20, for example, with their like API. And then some of it would just be like a PowerShell script, just using like tables within PowerShell. So yeah, that would be the initial hook to pull them in. Now, if it's the kind of person that, and there's a lot of people like this that are like, I want to solo play so bad. I know it's something I want to do. I've already been hooked in, but I just can't seem to find a way to do it. And I've been that person. So I kind of understand. I really understand. And I'm not that far removed from that point. I actually still find myself at that point. I found myself at that point with Band of Blades very recently, in which case I go back to what I know. And I've been an instructor for like cybersecurity as well. So there's something called, and I have a video coming out. So this is almost like a sneak peek for whenever that video comes
Oh,
out.
wow.
But it's crawl, walk, run. What you want to do is, for teaching most things, right? You want someone to be able to, like, maybe I will start by showing you how it's done, or we'll say I talk about it. I talk about, hey, this is how you solo play. And then I go up on the whiteboard and then I do an example of, hey, this is how you solo play. And then you run where you are going to solo play and I'll be there to guide you. Now, what that looks like for you and or me when I'm solo playing, a la Band of Blades, where I was struggling a few days ago and now I'm loving it, it's this massive tome. And I'm like, how the hell do I start? I start by getting the core mechanics, just the bare minimum. What do I need to do? Like, just play this game. To use an obvious example, like Dungeons and Dragons, it's a D20 roll with your stat and you add mods. That's the core. That's the core of it, right? And if you hit someone, then you roll the damage based off of your weapon, right? And add mods there. That's the core. And then I'll do a scenario, like in a vacuum type scenario where, hey, we're in a cave and we're fighting goblins. So now I'm stress testing my understanding of those core mechanics. And inevitably, I'm going to stretch beyond my understanding, where there's going to be these little niche scenarios where the goblins have ganged up on me. What does that mean? I sneak up on the goblins. What does that mean? Maybe I am taking cover and the goblins are shooting arrows at me. What does that mean? And then I take the time to look up each one of those things as they come up. And that's perfectly fine. Now I've gone from crawling to just getting the core mechanics to walking in these specific scenarios. Now we're going to run. And when we run, we're going to take a scenario that's not necessarily in a vacuum. We're going to play. We're going to play the game, and hopefully most of, usually combat being the most strenuous portion of a system, you've done that in a vacuum already. So now that you're going to play, let's say now we're going to go to a different cave and we're going to start by entering the cave. What does that look like? Us walking in, is there like a door at the cave, or is there some way that we need to get into the cave? What does that look like? There's the exploration part. Maybe there's someone outside of the cave, social. You get into the cave, now you're sneaking. Maybe you're doing the sneak attacks and but like what the rule is. And now as you're playing, you may still have moments where you need to refer to the book, but it'll be far less than your little scenario in a vacuum, ideally, right? And you go through this little scenario and you kind of see like how things work. And this is for like learning the system primarily. Using the like oracles is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But by the end of that, you're like, okay, I have now crawled, I've walked, I've ran, and I have a decent understanding of this system. And you know what the real kicker is at the end of that?
You fly?
You're playing.
Playing.
You're playing.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it was like a waste or anything like that, because it's not like this was for nothing. Like, you just did a free play moment where you learn the rules. And that being like system specific, you can apply that same thing to like one page mythic, or one page solo engine, perplexing ruins.
Yeah, pretty much
a bunch
anything.
of different. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit. I mean, wow, that's a whole method that if I had known that before getting into some games, I probably wouldn't have dropped them so quickly. Because that's true. There is a learning curve in solo playing and in systems too. And I
Yeah.
found that in traditional TTRPGs, in group playing, when you ask, for example, for TTRPG for beginners, many people say, sure, something rules like Fate, for example, and it turns out that those systems are pretty hard to play because you need to have learned a little bit how to use all the narrative stuff, all the adjectives, and it's not really that easy. And I feel like it's kind of similar with what you say about the solo role playing, when you were saying like, oh, maybe there's someone outside the cave. And I remembered, I don't know, 15-20 minutes ago, you said that you start flexing all those improv muscles that you can then use in the group playing. Like, yeah, and you need to learn how to do that. And in this process of crawl, walk, run, you do that naturally while you enjoy the process.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And enjoying the process is a big part of it. And I probably tend to roll more than the average YouTube solo player. But I kind of like rolling. And first of all, rolling dice is fun.
Yeah,
I'm all into physically interacting with the books and the dice and the pens and the cards. And I just love the idea of not having control over showing up to the cave and not knowing what is outside of that cave. I'm obsessed with that idea. I'm obsessed that it could be anything. I could show up and I think in my head, hey, this is a goblin cave. And now I just roll on an oracle to be like, well, is there a troll outside? like we found some footsteps before and we saw some tracks. Like, could that have been a troll? And why a troll? Because that's what popped in my mind, and that's okay. Don't feel guilty about it. Just accept it. And going with your gut is like huge. That might be like the biggest thing to do for solo play, because you just go with your gut. Is there a troll? You roll. Holy shit, yes, there's a troll outside. What does that mean? Are the trolls and the goblins working together? Are the goblins stuck in the cave and the troll is like keeping them in there? Is the troll a bodyguard for the goblin? Like, I love the idea of the mind map that unfolds through building those connections that originally meant nothing.
If you haven't made a video about that, you have to. That's such an interesting topic. How do you deal with the knowledge dissonance between player and character in solo playing? And how do you not step on your own feet like when you're doing it? Because it's so easy to have it like pre-planned or something. I don't know. It's really like being the player and the game master at the same time. It poses a challenge, and tables and oracles help you with that. But really, I think being able to be in the mindset of really surprising yourself, like, really goes a long way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I think that's the part that most people think would suck about solo play, is that,
totally.
like, especially if you're doing a pre-written module, I know all of the answers.
Yeah.
Well, how is that fun? I'm obviously going to just pick the best answer based off of what I'm reading. And the answer to that is no. No, you don't. And there's multiple strategies to handle that, whether you use something like O, player character emulator, which I've been obsessed with lately, where...
Yeah, that's the video I was talking about a little bit before, when I said you had shown lately some tools. It was the PC Maker, which is like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know such a thing existed, but I feel like the deeper I go down this rabbit hole, I just keep finding more things that I didn't think would be a possibility. But arguably in that scenario, you are being the GM and the players are being emulated, which is kind of an interesting concept to me that's also like kind of foreign to me. I love the idea of both. And maybe that's weird, but sometimes I like to be the character. So like Dragonbane, for example, um, that's like a perfect example. I don't know why I feel like I need to give you more than one example. RuneQuest, Pendragon, those being games where I will be the character. But a game like Morkborg or Shadow Dark, I love the idea of a funnel and just throwing a bunch of random scrub NPCs into a dungeon and just seeing who survives. And then by the end of it, you then get a character who has been molded by this terrible situation, almost like Darkest Dungeon or XCOM, where so many people didn't survive, but you become attached to the characters that somehow make it, even though they only showed up with a pole and some string. They didn't even have a weapon, but somehow that is the character that survived the dungeon. And I just love that idea.
Okay, so now we are wrapping up. I know you have a family you have to go back to right now. I have a couple.
You are my family now.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, honey, yeah.
Sacred's moving in.
First, quick question: what race did you play the first time you played the Dragonbane solo adventure? Did you play a Mallard?
No. I think I hate Mallard.
Really?
I think. I don't know. I'm slowly...
Everyone played that the first time because it's something that's just not in D&D and it's a duck, so why not, I would guess.
It's also in RuneQuest, though, and I hate it there as well. I don't know. The duck thing is just weird for me. I just feel like it doesn't belong. That might be a hot take, because that's such a beloved race.
I think we're going to have to cancel the interview. At least we are not going to upload this. I'm playing a Wolfkin right now, which I feel is way better in that sense. It is very I don't know, kind of edgy. But I am trying to play it as... it has many traits of what dogs tend to do. So it scratches behind his ear with his back paw. So it has this kind of comedic / very threatening aura to it. It's very good. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah. So to answer the question, not exciting at all, but I did roll randomly. My first character was a human.
Okay, I really respect randomness. Embracing randomness is something I really, really respect.
Yeah. Yeah, human artisan. And then the first Dragonbane character I did on YouTube was a Wolfkin. Okay. And it just kind of became like Geralt of Rivia, but a wolf.
Second, this is not a question. This is a recommendation. I participated not long ago in a game jam on itch.io, and one of the fellow creators, called Noah Reed, made a really small game called 4D4. And this is my recommendation for you. I just played it. It uses a system made by himself. It is really, really small. The game, system included, is about 15 pages long or something. The art is really cute. I really enjoyed it. And you get to play a BBEG. And you are actually a BBEG preparing his final epic speech. But... you know how usually you are the hero and you face a billion nameless goblins and stuff, whether you are Zelda, Mario, a billion nameless Koopas or whatever. You are the BBEG and you have lackeys, and the lackeys have names and they have families and they have stuff, and the heroes are the nameless ones. So you have the lackeys and the lackeys have to give you enough time so you can prepare your speech, and these heroes just keep coming and coming and coming, and you have to defeat them so you have enough time. And when you get to a certain progress bar, you fill the bar, you finally have your speech and you won. So it is very interesting. It is in very early stages, but I tried it. I love the concept. I also love the system. I can send you through email later some tweaks you can do to the system to make it maybe a little bit faster or whatever. But it's my recommendation for you, so I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, don't worry. Um, Last official word of the interview. Have you thought about ever designing a game?
Every day.
When are we
I,
getting this sacred art game?
I have no idea because I don't know. I was actually just talking to Mage Hammer and John from Sharp Mount Games. They did a interview to each other recently, and I commented on their video where I'm just like, man, I would love to be where you guys are now. Because they were just kind of talking about how they're making games and stuff, and they're just like, yeah, I don't know, we'll see when we get to it. I'm gonna make this, and we'll see what happens, and it's just kind of whatever. And I'm like, I'm so jealous of you guys. I wouldn't even know where to begin outside of the ideas that I have, which is always my struggle. I have the ideas, I just struggle to get them out in a way that I want them to be conveyed. So I've talked about them on the channel before. I know one idea that I've worked on that I work on and off. I think I have the system kind of down in a way that I like, but it's pretty much like escaping hell. It's kind of inspired by like Dante's Inferno, the video game, but then also World's Deadliest Warrior, where you have all of these different people and cultures and all of these different styles that are just represented of like some of the arguably like most deadliest warriors in the world. And maybe it wouldn't be literal hell because people might like take offense to that, but I just love the idea of like ninjas and samurais and pirates and knights and Rajput and Mongolian like horseback riders and all these cool like warriors, and having to escape these levels of hell and it being different every time you try and do it. And then how I would like for it to be is that it's kind of like random. So you don't just say like, oh, I want to be the Hashashim. You would roll, and that's the character that you would play. And then maybe there's like a roguelike mechanic to it that I would love, where maybe if you get so far as the Spartan, for example, maybe that gives the next character that you roll up some type of benefit. So that being one thing I've played around with a lot. I've also developed this weird obsession with the Bridgewater Triangle, which is like a supernatural, ridiculous thing that's in New England. And it's so crazy that something like that exists in a place where so many people live and you don't think about something like that. And almost like a Cthulhu-esque investigative story in kind of like New England as just like two things. But I would love to be cranking out games left and right, but it's just a matter of one step at a time. I've got a buddy that's slowly drawing some demons for me, and as I do some mechanics, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
Wow, I mean the concept sounds very, very interesting. I hope that sees the light of the day at some point, maybe soon. I am working on a little bit of stuff myself. I will say it is actually a solo TTRPG.
Nice.
I will send you to playtest it as soon as I have it. If you like it, you can make a video about it. If you don't like it, don't make a video about it, but send me the comments through the email. But yeah,
you got it.
It's been a process for me too, because I had never done that either, and it's just a bunch of ideas that I write down, and it's like one day I wake up and I have one idea and I go and write it down, and it just stays there for a month or something. But usually the best stuff is the one that is not rushed. So yeah, if we have the privilege of doing this for fun, we have to embrace it, and hopefully we see your game soon, because now I am really worked up about it.
Yeah. At one point I pretty much I think I was obsessed, probably because of Dragonbane. I was doing like a D20 roll under, and then one day I just woke up and I was like, D6 dice pool. It has to be D6 dice pool with exploding dice, because that
I love
captures
exploding
the
dice.
the chaotic nature, because I almost wanted it to be like Doom, like very over the top, crazy, just slaughtering demons as you're working your way up. So yeah, it's funny how those moments happen where you sit on it for a bit and then you're like, Eureka!
Well, Sacred, it's been a blast. I am very happy that I had you here. How was it for you? Your first interview for fun?
Yeah, yeah, it was great. I had a lot of fun. It was pretty natural. It's nice to not be like interrogated for once,
Ooh, yeah,
or for like a job interview or something
I
like that, or a
totally know how
promotion
that feels.
board. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, yeah. Hopefully, you are feeling like wanting to come back again, because I would love to have you again at some point. Hopefully, maybe with one or two games under our belt. We don't know. But is there anything else you would like to say? Where can people find you? And any other thing you want to add? The floor is yours.
Oh boy. You can find me on YouTube at Sacred Art of Gaming. And yeah, if you're looking for solo play vibes, solo play advice, and you want to keep it, physical and get into the ritual of play. When I say physical, I mean like the physical dice and the physical books, as opposed to something digital. I like to actually have the tangible materials in front of me as much as possible. And then just really thinking outside the box for ways to be inspired by different media as well as other TTRPGs, and then maybe twist it slightly. I love that. And we can do it together.
Very good. For the people listening, you can also check I think was second or third episode of Creative Contraband. We did an episode on rituals in art in general. I don't think there is much you, Sacred, can learn about it, because it's about how you can use rituals to, help your players, or maybe not help them, wink wink. But it's very clear that you have your rituals in Solo TTRPGs already very down, and actually I learned a lot. I am going to apply lots of stuff. I mean, my soon-to-be wife is very big on candles, so yeah, I have some stuff around there I'm going to steal to use. So thank you for being here, and yeah, see you very soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This is Creative Contraband, brought to you by Session Zero Studios.